Hi folks, this is all the fruit, and here I have the Rowan or mountain ash. I'm in an area in Heidelberg called the Felsenmeer or Sea of Rocks. I think you can guess why it's called this. It looks, despite being on some pretty low hills in an elevation of about 400 meters, it looks almost a little bit alpine. And this is one of the reasons why it's a popular habitat for the mountain ash. Why is it called ash? Well, it's not closely related to the ash, but it has leaves a little bit similar to the ash. Why is it called mountain ash? Well, it likes to grow in high mountains. It's very winter hardy, it's also very wind hardy. So basically in mountains and in Nordic areas it is the only upright fruit tree. Here most of them are shrubs because they don't get a lot of nutrients among those rocks. But it can grow as a small tree. Well, yeah, the young trees don't have very good timber, but the really old trees, it seems that in the center of the stem there is some pretty usable hard timber. Well, we had quite a dry year last year, and this year was also pretty dry, so most of them don't even have fruit. Here, on the driest and the rockiest slope, I found one which has some fruit. So in mountain areas this is quite a popular fruit tree because it's the only fruit tree in the high mountains. That's what the little berries look like. I mean, in high mountains and in Nordic places, usually you have only those small berry shrubs. But here is a big plant where you can get a lot more fruit. Okay, I will not get the fruit from up there. Or maybe I shall try. Let's see. I know, I might break it. So, this one doesn't look like much. It's a very small inflorescence because of the dry weather in the last 2 years, but still there is a couple edible fruit there. Well, the edibility of the fruit. This is one of the plants. Okay, I will get a slightly bigger inflorescence here. Oh, so, come on. Okay, about the edibility of the fruit. There are lots of sources which state that the fruit is toxic. Well, this is not correct, but the fruit contains perisorbic acid, which is irritating to the stomach. So eating it in large amounts, well, the raw fruit is usually not too tasty, although there are some cultivars which are slightly tastier, but yeah, this perisorbic acid will irritate your stomach. If the fruit freeze, well, when the fruit freeze in autumn, they will not freeze everywhere in their range, because the range in the west, it extends from the subtropical island of Madeira, from areas which are almost frost-free, to Iceland, which is not called Iceland for nothing, and in the east it extends throughout most of Siberia and China. So in most of the range the fruit will freeze in autumn, which will turn the perisorbic acid into sorbic acid, which will be considerably less unpleasant. Also they contain a lot of vitamin C, a lot of sugar, and a lot of a sugar substitute, sorbit I think it is. So quite an interesting fruit, especially if it's the only fruit in areas like this here where you will find only little huckleberries and raspberries and blackberries and so, but no other bigger fruit trees. Yeah. For some funny reason it also tolerates city climate quite well. So it tolerates alpine and Nordic climate, it tolerates very windy climate, and it also tolerates the dry city climate. So it's quite a popular ornamental. But yeah, if it was just an ornamental, probably I wouldn't be making a video about it. What can you do with those berries? Well, you can eat them fresh. Let's try a couple. Yeah. Basically tastes like a really, like a pretty astringent and bitter aronia. You take an aronia, this is pretty much like the aronia but with more bitterness. The aronia has a small trace of bitterness, but this is quite bitter. Not extremely bitter, it's edible, but I cannot imagine eating a lot of it for fun. But when it freezes or when you heat it, this perisorbic acid turns into sorbic acid, which is much easier to consume by humans. That's why it's usually not eaten fresh. What do people make from it? Well, of course, a lot of alcoholic drinks like wines, brandies, liquors. You can also make marmalade and juice. They are specific cultivars. Some of them are bred to make juice, others are bred to make marmalade or to candy them, basically to pickle them in sugar. Yeah. Well, quite an interesting plant, not only in the Nordic countries where there is not much selection of bigger fruit plants, but also in more temperate areas it's quite popular. In Germany, yeah, it's mostly popular in high mountains like around the Alps and the Bavarian forests, but even in the area of Hesse, which is very popular for its apple cider, it's often added to the apple cider, and in rare cases you can even find pure Rowan cider, but that's supposed to be quite rare. I've never seen any pure Rowan cider. So yeah, basically eating it, a few berries will not kill you. Yeah, tastes like a bitter aronia, but yeah, after heating it or freezing it in the freezer, you can use it for a lot of stuff. Also quite a beautiful ornamental when it's covered with those berries in summer. It's quite beautiful. The flowers in spring are quite beautiful. Bees and birds like it. Yeah, overall quite a useful and beautiful little tree or big shrub. Okay folks, this was the Rowan or mountain ash from the Sea of Rocks or Felsenmeer of Heidelberg. Stay tuned for a lot more fruit videos from the forests and rocks of Heidelberg. And don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe.